Section 1. A Silent Thirst. The battle for water in the Palestinian territories. A Palestinian child holds an empty bottle while waiting in a long queue for water from a distribution truck. The crisis is acute, immediate, and largely unseen by the outside world. For many families, turning on a tap has become an exercise in futility, a daily reminder of their precarious existence. In June 2024, the Ain Samia pumping station was once again rendered inoperable. This was not a random mechanical failure. It was the latest event in a long, grinding campaign that is systematically depriving Palestinian communities of their most essential resource: water. It is a war fought not with armies in plain sight, but through the deliberate destruction of pipes, the demolition of reservoirs, and the slow, agonizing strangulation of daily life. The struggle for water is not a new phenomenon here, but its intensity has reached a terrifying new peak. These events are not isolated incidents. They form a clear and disturbing pattern. From the rolling hills of the South Hebron Hills to the crowded, besieged neighborhoods of Gaza, the story is the same. Water infrastructure is being targeted. This is not a natural drought. It is a man-made disaster, engineered through policy, violence, and a calculated indifference to human suffering. Israeli settlements in the West Bank often have lush lawns and swimming pools, while adjacent Palestinian villages are forced to ration water by the liter. This systemic inequality makes Palestinian communities exceptionally vulnerable. When a single pipe is destroyed or a well is sealed, there is no alternative. Section 2. The weaponization of infrastructure. Settler raids and demolitions. The village of Al-Mughayir, near Ramallah, has been a frequent target. In April 2024, after a series of violent raids, settlers accompanied by military forces reportedly damaged the village's main water pipeline. This was not a singular event. Similar incidents have been documented across the West Bank. In the Jordan Valley, agricultural water lines are routinely cut. In the South Hebron Hills, designated Firing Zone 918, the military has demolished dozens of small water cisterns and removed or damaged solar panels that powered pumps. These acts are precise and strategic, aimed at crippling the agricultural backbone and making life untenable for residents. Consider Fatima, a shepherd near Hebron. Her family relied on a small community reservoir to water their flock for decades. In late 2023, she watched bulldozers under military escort crush the concrete reservoir, and the water spilled into dust. The solar panels that powered the pump were confiscated.
They are not just destroying stone and pipe. They are destroying our ability to live. Without water, my animals will die. Without my animals, my family has no income, no future here.
Timelines show a correlation between settler expansion and attacks on Palestinian infrastructure. Reports from groups like B'Tselem and OCHA mark a steady increase in incidents since October 7, 2023. On May 15, 2024, residents of Ain al-Hilweh reported settlers had set up a new outpost on a nearby hill. Within weeks, the community's spring became inaccessible due to harassment and blockades. The military often protects settlers, creating a climate of impunity. This is not random vandalism. It's a calculated strategy of displacement. By dismantling infrastructure, water networks, schools, roads, homes, demolition orders often cite a lack of building permits. Permits are notoriously difficult for Palestinians to obtain from authorities in Area C, which makes up over 60% of the West Bank. It's a bureaucratic trap. Destroy a well because the law prevented its construction, clearing land for future settlement expansion. Section 3. Gaza's cascade of collapse fuel, bombs, and broken pipes. In Gaza, the situation has devolved from a chronic crisis into an outright catastrophe. Years of blockade had already weakened the coastal enclave's water and sanitation systems, but the relentless bombardment since October 7, 2023 has led to a near-total collapse. The vast majority of Gaza's water infrastructure has been damaged or destroyed. Desalination plants, wastewater treatment facilities, and hundreds of kilometers of pipelines. Repairing this vast network is impossible under the current conditions of ongoing conflict and severe restrictions on importing necessary materials like pipes, pumps, and spare parts. The scarcity of fuel is as devastating as the bombs. Gaza's entire water system is dependent on electricity to power pumps, desalination plants, sanitation facilities. With the main power plant shut down and fuel imports severely restricted by Israel, the system has ground to a halt. The few facilities that can still operate rely on generators. But the fuel to run them is a rare and precious commodity. Humanitarian agencies report that fuel deliveries are consistently blocked or delayed at the border crossings. This fuel shortage creates a domino effect. Without power, water cannot be pumped from the wells. Without water, there is nothing to drink. And without power for sanitation, raw sewage floods the streets and contaminates the remaining water sources. Before the recent escalation, Gaza already suffered from a severe water crisis, with over 95% of its aquifer water unfit for human consumption due to saline intrusion and sewage contamination. People relied on small-scale, private desalination units and bottled water. Now, even those options are gone for most. The large-scale desalination plants built with international aid, such as the one in Khan Yunis, have sustained heavy damage. According to UNICEF reports from early 2024, the average person in Gaza was surviving on less than 3 liters of water per day for all needs: drinking, cooking, hygiene, a fraction of the minimum international standard for survival.
We are trying to patch a sinking ship with our bare hands. For every pipe we fix, 10 more are shattered. We have no tools, no fuel, no safety. We are watching our city die of thirst.
The direct consequence of destroying water systems is, the rise of disease. In Gaza, the collapse of the sewage system has turned streets into open sewers, creating a perfect breeding ground for pathogens. Aid organizations warned of a public health disaster since late 2023. By spring 2024, it was a devastating reality. The World Health Organization has reported hundreds of thousands of cases of acute respiratory infections and diarrheal diseases, deadly for young children, the elderly, and the immunocompromised.
We have no clean water in the hospital. We cannot sterilize equipment properly. We tell mothers to give their sick children fluids, but what fluids? The water they bring is what made their children sick in the first place. It is a nightmare.
The humanitarian response to this engineered water crisis is being systematically obstructed. Aid convoys carrying water purification tablets, fuel for pumps, spare parts for pipelines, and bottled water face a labyrinth of bureaucratic hurdles and physical barriers. In the West Bank, communities in Area C near settlements and military zones, access is often restricted. Aid workers report being denied entry, having materials confiscated, or facing long, unpredictable delays. In Gaza, the situation is infinitely more dire. Despite international calls for unimpeded access, the flow of aid into the Strip has been a mere trickle. Convoys are subjected to complex and often arbitrary inspections at Kerem Shalom and Rafah. Trucks are frequently rejected for carrying dual-use items, pipes and pumps, generators, drilling equipment, the very materials needed to repair the water system. Even when water pumps are intact, they are useless without the diesel to run them. The fuel allowed in is catastrophically insufficient to power hospitals, bakeries, and water and sanitation facilities. A report from OCHA in May 2026 highlighted that water production had fallen to less than 20% of its pre-October 2023 levels, primarily due to the fuel shortage. International aid groups have the funds and the will to provide fuel, but requests are denied or partially approved, forcing impossible choices about which life-saving service to prioritize. This deliberate limitation on aid is not a logistical problem, it is a policy choice. By controlling what and how much aid enters Gaza, Israel maintains ultimate control over the conditions of life for the 2.3 million people trapped there, a form of collective punishment that directly exacerbates the water crisis. This is the human cost of the water war you are not seeing. The consequences are immediate and brutal. Disease, hunger, displacement. unfolding before a world largely unwilling or unable to intervene effectively. The timeline since late 2023 shows a sharp escalation in a long-standing pattern. Water is a right, not a weapon. The immediate, unimpeded delivery of fuel and repair materials into Gaza is a matter of life and death. Water engineers and humanitarian workers must be protected and given safe access. Until this fundamental principle is upheld and enforced, the silent thirst will continue to claim lives, lands, and the last vestiges of hope for a just peace.